That's Kindly Talk. We're live with the discussion. We're joined by Holly. Great 1-0 victory over Wrexham. The only downside, I suppose, is Wharton's red card. So I'd like to quickly talk about that first. So, Holly, what did you make of the red card?
I mean, I think for the whole of the second half, after kind of Wharton got the yellow card, all of their players were looking when they were ever near Wharton to kind of go down and to force the ref to give that other yellow card. Because, I mean, Wharton got his shirt ripped in the first half and got nothing for it. The ref was clearly going to give Wharton nothing all game. And for that last one, it was so soft. Even the commentator said it was soft. Wharton's facing away from the player. He's got no malicious intent. He's just jumping for a 50-50 ball. That's his job. Like, the players come off on it and it looks bad. It looks like he's just bleeding, maybe caught his nose or something. But they're both jumping with their arms up. And I think it's a soft yellow to give to get for the second red. And I think, like we were just talking about earlier, like you said, George, that the ref's gone over, saw on the blood and gone, oh, that looks worse than it probably was anyway, and given in the red. But I think, although it's going to be a really big loss, Knight's probably now come to at a good point because he's got his fitness up and he's just got some minutes then. We've just seen him. So, yes, it's a loss, but this is Knight's time to go, right, this is my place to grab and prove himself.
Yeah, I think we look at that as a whole performance. For me, the only negative was the Wharton red. I think a lot of people were upset about how we started the game. I think that's always going to happen because if you're an opposition manager playing Notts, you see what Kings Lynn have done, you see what Wharton would have done by scoring early. You say, put all your effort in and get an early goal because this team don't recover from it. So as much as we should be expecting that, the confidence just plays a massive part. And we weathered the storm for once. And what we've seen gradually over the game, it's improved minute on minute. So it just feels football is crazy. Everyone's so down a couple of days ago. And a victory like that is unbelievable.
I think a big positive thing as well is seeing Knight, because it just seems like he's been at the club for about 3 years and we're not seen him play yet. And obviously the man Carl Roberts coming in. I mean, just it feels great to see him playing again, doesn't it, really?
We've got to talk about that, though. Within 2 minutes, Knight's on, the ball rolls to him at the edge of the box and he spins and shoots instantly. Like that.
It just shows a player that's got confidence because I don't think our strike... I mean, they have been doing that, but within his first 5 minutes of the game to decide that's what he was going to do, it shows how full of confidence he must be.
Straight back to it. And I think, you know, you're looking into the next game now for Monday. If that sort of shows that gives the green light for Roberts to now play for Monday, maybe start, I think it's scary the way the end of the season could go, and I can't believe I'm actually saying that because a few days ago.
No, you're getting. We've won a game, George. Chill out, mate.
Yeah, but look at who we've beat and look at their record going into this game.
Yeah,
and it was a convincing performance as well. Like, and one thing I said to, because obviously we watched, me and Jordan watched the game in my garden today on my laptop. There just seems to be like the level of aggression seems to have increased. I think, you know. If the officiating was poor today, I thought anyway. Never mind the red card, but like players were surrounding the ref. You know, we were really up for it. And I think when their player dived, you had Ellis proper like squaring up to him, just showing that like aggressiveness. I think that has probably been installed by Birchnell. So I think I think that's a good thing to see. I think we need to be that team that's horrible to come and play against and aggressive side. Go on, Holly. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I was just going to say, like you said about Ellis, you can tell how much which is like a player who wants to play for his shirt, because you can tell how kind of like irate he was getting with all those kind of decisions that weren't going our way because the ref was kind of a little bit one-sided. So you could see that he was so passionate about everything, and he was always the first in that kind of like surrounding the ref, and they were all there together and they were all kind of backing each other, which was nice to see that they all kind of had that desire and that passion to get what was right for them. So I thought that was good to see, and I thought Jim definitely kind of had that passion as well because he was phenomenal till he got bought off. And Ellis just did everything today. It was just a rock at the back.
That was the block at the end, Ellis. That Keaton just bought.
Yeah,
was that Ellis as well? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that could have been a goal.
100%. I think clean sheet against Wrexham is massive. I think beating a promotion rival is massive. I think one of the things is as well, we beat the teams around us. We play well against the teams around us. Bar Hartlepool, we've beaten Sutton, we've beaten Stockport twice, and then drawn, obviously played them in the trophy. We've now beaten Wrexham. So you just hope that if it is the playoffs, I don't know what is going to happen. If it is the playoffs, you hope that we can go toe to toe with these teams because we've shown that we can. I don't know.
I think with players coming back from injury as well, I think a really key player could be as well McCrory. I think when he's back, just the depth that we're going to have at the back to cover in like, I don't know if we're going to consistently play 5 at the back. Even though it wasn't really much of a 5 at the back today, I think it was more of a 3 at the back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the wing backs were a lot more forward than they would be.
That's what you got to see. The little difference there. Under Ardley, it was an obvious 5 at the back.
Yeah.
And when you've got the 3, when it's a more obvious 3, you've got more attacking intent. Like we're a team that should be attacking. Like however good Wrexham are and beating in 7, not should be attacking Wrexham at home. Like we should never in any game, bar maybe I don't know, a game like Stockport away or Hartlepool away. We should never be the passive team. We should always be the team on the front foot. And today, more direct attacking intent. It was just so much better to see. And whether Bertrand is just now starting to get that into the squad and just saying, don't be afraid, don't be defensive, attack. Because today was one of the first times we've seen, for a prolonged 30-minute period, I'd say we're the better team at the end of the game. We've attacked, but we haven't looked shaky at the back. Usually when we attack, we look susceptible to the counter. So I think if that's Bertrand setting us up, and he's done a good job in, what is it? Is it just over a week, maybe?
Yeah.
Who was your man of the match? Sorry, George.
I don't know. I've kind of got a few players that I thought had better games than I've ever seen them play. I thought Chickson, he wasn't my man of the match, but I thought he had a solid performance. I know we didn't see much of him under Ardley, so it was nice that kind of Bertrand kind of brought that out of him, and I thought he was really good. He got some kind of key blocks on the end to put crosses in. He wasn't like stand out, but he was solid, which I think is good. And he obviously must have proved himself in training to get in above Kelly, because Kelly Evans is just continuously good. I thought Ellis was, I'd probably say Ellis because he got the goal and because he was so solid at the back. Griffiths, I like the look of him. I can see the potential there. He had a couple of 1-2 passes with Reeves in like the first half, and you can see that he has that creative spark. It's just obviously getting comfortable with the team around him. I don't think he's got that yet. So I'd probably say Ellis and maybe Jim were probably my man of the match.
Jim O'Brien was class today. Absolutely class. I mean, I think he's the main driving force for this positive sort of run that we're going on now. Maybe that's probably a bit of a huge statement saying we've only had one win, but like when you look at it in the last performance, he was my man of the match in the last game. Today, he's well up there again. He's driving runs. It's just that will to want to do, hasn't he? He seems to have that level above everyone else in the squad, and I think he's been outstanding. So I'd like to see him a permanent fixture in the squad. I would.
100%. I think for me now, he's like the first name on the team sheet, even ahead of. There's sort of 3 or 4 players that have to play. So Slocum has to play. Rawlinson and Ellis have to play. Jim O'Brien has to play, and probably Reeves. They are must starters in this side now. Yeah, you can chop and change other players, but that's a very strong core of the team, and it's a very experienced core. So the fact we can have people like Knight and people like Roberts, because Roberts is a great player, but he's not got massive amounts of experience. The fact we can have Knight, Barnett in there, Kelly Evans, who up until Notts didn't have much experience in the first team. I think we've got a good team, and Bertrand said that we're heavy on right backs and light on midfielders. Well, like you said as well, George, McCrory coming back, and all of a sudden we've got a perfectly moulded side. So it's all set up, I think, for a bit of a tasty run into the end of the season.
I think something worth discussing as well, which I found a bit odd. I mean, I'm not complaining because obviously we've won the game, but why was Enzio on throw-ins?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's because obviously as a winger you always look to throw to him, and I rate Enzio. I think he's a great player, but I think we have better players to receive the ball, and it's often when we receive the ball it's a 1-2 back. So if Enzio is throwing that and the players received it, then it's a 1-2 back with him. He's already on the wing and he's in a great position to then kind of push on, and he's not necessarily going to be marked. So I don't know if that's what they were kind of going for, but I think he has got a longer throw than most of our players, and I didn't really realise he had till he started taking the turns today. I
didn't know. Was Ellis in there for the headers from the Enzio throws? Did Ellis go up? He did. So I wondered at the start if it was anything to do with not wanting to be caught on the break with Ellis up there for throws. If he's in there, it's purely a tactical reason. Yeah. Cal Roberts, instantly. We put a picture up on Twitter maybe Wednesday, Thursday, maybe even earlier, of the amount of men he drags towards him when he runs forward. Instantly, they saw Kyle Roberts coming on, and instantly they had to change. He got the ball first touch, maybe won a free kick. Sets things up. Players around him all of a sudden had more freedom to move. We saw that where Knight received the ball and then passed it back to Roberts. I'm literally fingers crossed he's got to come out of this still fit. Like, we saw the Stockport, he came back and instantly out for like another 2 months. George is so important, isn't it, that he's fit now?
Yeah, it is. I'm hoping that, because that injury was quite complex from what we heard. It was something like related to COVID and oxygen levels in his muscles, etc. But you sort of thinking if he's come back now, they're on top of it and they can treat it in the right manner. So, we've got a couple of days break now. Let's see how he comes back from it. And I'm really hoping, even if he's on the bench for the next game, I won't mind, because you've seen the impact. He was on for 15 minutes. You've seen the impact he had in 15 minutes. So I think, if we're chasing the game against Woking, bring him on. I mean, Knight looks promising as well. But, you look at the next game as well and you think, like, who would you put up top? Because you sort of want that similar sort of like strong player who's good with his back to goal. But who would you have? Would you have Effiong? Would you have Sam? It's difficult.
Did either of them even make the bench today? I don't think
I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah.
No, because it was Rodriguez, Knight, Kelly Evans,
Miller, and
Roberts and Miller. Yeah, so they didn't even make the bench. I don't know, Holly. Who starts up front for you?
I think I'd like to see Knight start a game, because I think towards the end of that half he kind of got more into it, and then I think when we went down to 10 he couldn't obviously show as much as you'd like to see in the kind of the last 5 minutes of the game. So but then again, you can't rule out Jimmy Knowles, because he's got so many kind of crucial goals for us this season already. But I think Knowles needs to be partnered with a more experienced player, maybe like an Effiong. But I think Sam and Knight could work together, because Sam's got the height and he can bring it down and he can run as well. And Knight's got that pace and confidence, so I think they could bounce off each other. But I think I would have wanted to see Knight and Wharton for another game, but obviously that's not going to happen, so we'll see.
No,
yeah. I don't think it's not the worst thing.
I think, I don't think it is the worst thing. Wouldn't be surprised to see it get appealed, and I think Wharton needed a break anyway.
Was it 2 yellows?
It was, yeah.
I don't think you can appeal 2 yellows. I think it's just a straight red. No.
All right, fair enough.
So,
well, like I say, I think you'll get a lot from having a game off. It's such a hectic schedule now. I mean, I'd rather him miss a game now than later on in the season.
Due to injury,
yeah, and I think it'd be good to see. I really like Sam. I think Sam's a great player. On his day, I think under new management, I think he'll do well. So hopefully we see Sam. But either way, I think Effiong's a good player as well. So he's sort of stuck between two good. So
I don't think we can predict the side at the minute. I wouldn't. We didn't predict anywhere near today. I think the only thing we got right was
midfield free. We got that right.
No, we said Rodriguez instead of.
Did we?
Reeves. We were dropping Reeves, but we didn't even get the attacking. We got nothing right. So the other team can't actually get it right. They can't plan for. They know Wharton's not going to be playing. So who are they going to plan for? I don't know what it's like Hollywood training sessions. I don't know how you plan for the opposition, but they've got 3 days now to plan for Effiong, Knight, who they know barely anything about, Knowles or Sam. 4 people to plan for in 2 days? That seems to me like a pretty impossible task.
Yeah, we're obviously a bit of an anomaly, because a lot of those strike partnerships haven't actually been together. They've been with Wharton, because Wharton's always started. So you take him out of the factor and they can't plan for it. I think the only thing they can plan for is maybe the type of play that we'll play with these players. Like Sam, it might be more kind of like a long ball in for him to hold up, and Knight will be more on his feet. So they can only kind of really work out the tactics of how they would defend against certain plays. I don't think they can work out who we're going to play and do it on kind of based on players. I think it's more the overall game that they'll have to look at and how we'd get it up to the top, because I think that is something we sort of struggled with, like the final third, like the commentators did say it, the balls to Wharton, we've not been getting as many as them. So I think that's the only thing they can really work on towards this game, looking forward to it. But it's really is, like you said, you can't predict the team. It's anyone's game, it's anyone's place to fight for a shirt.
Yeah. I think that can go wrong quickly though. Do you know what I mean? I think as much as it's good to sort of have that competition for wanting to play for the shirt and I want to play next game and vice versa, like there's all that to take into account, and then it's like changing the formation in the team every week. Like it can cause huge imbalance in the squad. So I think he's got it right today, absolutely. But I worry that if he does that for the rest of the season, chops and change, like will it work? Is he trying to get to know the best of his team? Probably. So I'm hoping he will stick with something, but I mean we don't really know yet, do we? It's one of those where we're not really sure sort of what route he's going to go down.
Yeah, I think back on the unpredictability of us, we put him here. We put Griffiths in our preview lineup, not expecting to actually play. He comes in, and the first 45 was better than the second 45. And I think again, that's unpredictability. Like the guy's played 2 games for Crew, first team. How do you plan for that as well? I thought actually he was okay, but I think the role he was playing, I think Rodriguez could also slot into that role. And it's mad to think Rodriguez didn't even come on today. Didn't even get him on. Like, there's so much attacking talent. I feel like we've wasted half the season just not using it properly. There's so much there. There's like 7 players that would get into most teams in the division. And I don't know, I feel like it's easy to say after a win, but Birchnell sort of, I'm confident now he knows how to utilise that. Because what Ardy was very good at was keeping clean sheets, and we've seen that. We've seen, like, we've conceded the least in the league. But Birchnell, I just think he can unlock that attacking threat. And it's slowly been coming in the last few games. Very slowly.
He doesn't have any of those like ties though we talked about before, like emotional ties. Like look at Chickson coming in today for a league game. How many times have we seen that this season after him not playing? You know what I mean? So I think he's not afraid to shake it up, and I think it can work well. But he's got to be careful with it, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot here of comments.
Yeah, no, Chickson was really good. Really
about
good.
Chickson. I'm really happy for him because I thought his career was pretty much over at Notts, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
he
was looking to leave, wasn't he, in January?
Yeah, that's the thing as well. With a new manager coming in, players can be literally at the end of their tether with the team and not want to ever play again, and all of a sudden they're loving what they're doing. And I do feel like Birchnell, no one's safe. No one's safe, are they? People are being dropped left, right, and centre. No. And it's just good to see it like sort of freshened up, but like you say, not too much, because I don't want to be going to the next game with like Pilling in goal and ridiculous like lineup. But I'm happy. I'm glad there's a game coming soon. As a player, Holly, if you've had a win, you just want that next game straight away?
Yeah, I think you're kind of on that high and you just want to carry that momentum forward. But I think they will also kind of, because it was an earlier kick, I think they'll be able to kind of like take it all in and kind of have a breather for it, and they've not kind of got a rush straight into the next game. But I think they need to get a head around what things they can work on, even though it was a good performance and it was a lot better than we've seen recent times. I think their confidence will be up after this, and deservedly so. And I think they just got to keep kind of pushing, because first 10 minutes of the game, yes, Wrexham were all over us, but if they don't score, it doesn't matter. You rule that 10 minutes out. For the rest of the game, Notts grew and grew and grew and were more solid, and we're causing Wrexham more problems than before. So I think, yeah, we might have some nervy starts, but I think that will only kind of get rid of that, and we'll soon be playing with confidence straight away, because I think it is, as like we said, when you have Birchnell a week, they're getting used to how we're playing. We're playing 3 at the back. We normally play 5-ish, depends on who we're playing against. But I think we will soon see Notts just going from the off and being strong for the whole 90 minutes. So I think you can't judge the first 10 minutes of the game if they don't concede.
Yeah, I think if this was 2 or 3 weeks ago, even if it went the same and Wrexham hadn't have scored after their first 15 minutes, I feel like Notts would still have allowed Wrexham to come at us. And the way it just sort of fizzled out and Notts took control of that game, I've said it before, it was always going to happen this way. You've got a team no confidence, a team high on confidence. Yeah, a few weeks ago we would have thought, oh, start the game poorly, it's pretty much game over there, and we would have seen Wrexham come at us, and we probably would have had a reaction after Wrexham had scored maybe a goal or 2. So that's just a massive positive for me. As I've said, it's just strange, isn't it? Like after the last game, Aldershot, I didn't want to see Notts play again for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it gets to like Wednesday night, and I'm looking at my watch thinking, oh, can't wait for kickoff again. Like that's the
beauty of it, though, isn't it? Like especially this team as well. You know, because we've got those characters. We've definitely got the personnel to be right up there, I think. So
talk about the celebration though. You messaged me about the players celebrating, didn't you?
Yeah. So they're
togetherness
just jumping on each other, and just you can tell that there's passion there. So I think you can't go far wrong. I don't think now. I mean, that's mad to say that now, thinking of how I felt after the Aldershot game. Probably the most depressing player ratings I've ever had to do. But
if you had to choose though, would you rather have won the Aldershot game and lost this one if you could only have won one? Because I think I would have rather won this one against a team that's in that kind of high position. And I think even though we didn't have that many shots on target in the Aldershot one, and it wasn't one of our best performances, we can all admit that, we were hard done by that penalty. And I think that then set the tone for the game. So I think this game can then now set off that kind of 7 like unbeaten like Wrexham were on. I think this is the kind of catalyst for that.
Yeah, 100% agree. You'd rather be a promotion rival. We've seen as well, like Sutton. I think Sutton have gone 10 unbeaten. It can be done. There's no reason it can't be done. You just build one game after another. Confidence from this going away to Woking will be a tricky game, but it's not the hardest game in the league. We've been away to Stockport and got results. We're unbeaten away at Stockport in the trophy in the league. It can be done.
Hereford have done it, so we should be able to do it.
Yeah, but then you could say Hornchurch have beat us, so they should be able
penalties,
to do
mate.
it.
It's a lottery, wasn't it? It was a lottery.
Yeah, we only let the lead slip 3 times there, mate, against a pretty poor side. But I think we've got a treat, haven't we, George? We've got a fan chat because Jordan's currently stood out in your garden waiting for you to finish this.
Yeah, he's shadow boxing in my garden, warming up for the first fan chat of the
first
year.
fan chat since Sutton away, wasn't it? Literally in October or November.
She feels about 2 years ago, yeah. So I'm excited to do that. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Holly, thanks for joining us, Ava. Really interesting. And I'm sure we'll see you on the channel either for a preview or another discussion really soon. And just keep an eye out for a busy weekend. We will be joined by the man behind Notts County Stats for our preview, and that will be on Sunday evening. So that'll be a really interesting one, going through a few stats and facts and figures. But as always, thank you for watching, and